it's me. I'm in charge Stone Cave, still trying to get through here. I am very tired because I've done a lot of work today. Had to get up early and cover a speech competition and interview speech kids competing in large group speech. And that's fine. That's my job. But it was a long day of just running back and forth between different places, and I'm exhausted. So this might be a shorter one of these. We'll see what happens. Uh, let's see. Did I see anything good here? Good today. Let's go through my day. Solo mime is the worst fucking speech act. It's not a good act. No one should do it. It's just, oh, it is so lame watching a kid mime, especially when they're not good enough at it for it to be readily apparent what they're trying to do. In that case, it's just, man, this is pathetic. There's a lot of readers' theaters where kids are like, nah, this is a good script, but you gotta speak up because I can barely hear you, you children. Like, be louder. I did watch a short film about like some scientists flying over like a time machine, and there's like a chase scene. I don't know why I'm describing this fucking thing that none of you are able to see, and it wasn't that great. It wasn't a very funny like sci-fi comedy, but there was just one joke that genuinely made me bust a gut laughing at how stupid it was. It was a perfect joke in this sci-fi comedy where there's this big chase scene, and one of them like just grabs a pair of scissors and chucks it at the other one, and the other one catches it, and then he says, "Ha! Now you can't chase me because you can't run with scissors," and runs away, and the other person slowly walks after because I want to run with scissors. That's dangerous. That was a funny joke. That was a funny joke. I watched. Oh God, I only got. Actually, no, I saw two improvs. But improv's always, well, it's hit or miss, but it's always at least fun. I did see a good improv that will go on to state, I'm pretty sure, where it's like locked in an escape room. So how do we get out of this? Well, let's pick up the guy who's playing the dumb guy and just just use him as a battering ram, physically manhandle our fellow student for the sake of the joke. So yeah, it was fine. Wait, I think that's actually the way to victory, and this is the way to items. Never mind, I'm full of shit. This is the way to N. And now I'm gonna kick N's ass again. Why's he gonna fight me? I'm still fine. I'm like my rewriting the ending of Homestuck. That heater's gonna kick in a second. I don't feel like trying to grab it. I'm still doing good. I'm ahead of schedule, but it's just spiraling out of control how long this is because I'm still writing Double Death of the Author, and it's going to be at least 90 minutes, I think. And this week, I'm really, what we got into writing as we're reaching the hour mark on Double Death of the Author is why it isn't very good. Why it's such a frustrating, mediocre story. Double Death of the Author, that is. And it's gonna be like a quarter of the video because it's just so long. It keeps going. Like Double Death of the Author's problem is that the conversations just go on and on and on, and a lot of them aren't great. There is some really good ideas. There are some characters that are really well written, and there are some really good plot moments. But God, when Double Death of the Author is at its worst, it is unbearable. Like the moment, like in the video where I'm gonna break down and just start ranting about it, because that's what really got me a point where I'm like, I can't read this anymore today. This is just fucking terrible. There's a bit in it where so one of the things I focus on that comic is Jade's guilt over being mind controlled by the Condens, and that's good. That's a thing the original comic didn't do. This is a thing that makes perfect sense to focus on if you're getting rid of the epilogue, getting rid of the retcon. This is a great thing to focus and expand on and work on Jade's character arc. Except it's just there are like 10. It just goes on and on, like conversation after conversation of Jade apologizing to people for being mean to them, and like it's just the same conversation again and again and again, and it goes on too long. Like And the worst part is when she does this to John, and later when she does this to Dave's sprite, they get mad at her because I can't believe you held back your feelings and weren't truthful with us, that you were angry with us. How can I trust you if you've lied to me? And I'm like, I don't give a shit about any of this, man. I don't fucking care. These don't feel like the characters from Homestuck. They don't feel like good characters at all. This is a boring, mediocre slog to get through, man. You know? Like, God, just Double Death of the Author is filled with conversations that go on for way too long, or conversations that are just the same points from other conversations repeated ad nauseum. And there are occasionally good, very genuinely good... fuck. I cut off like a little bit of my fingertip while cutting, just like a little bit of skin, but like I can't fucking type and press buttons without it hurting. But yeah, like Double Death of the Author, it does sometimes have moments that are good enough for you to keep reading. Like, I have immense amount of praise for Trezzy Pyro Ace Attorney or Rose playing the Rain. They made Rose playing the Rain work thematically, which was surprising. Like, Rose is really well written in this comic. Trezzy is really well written in this comic. If I have to read one more scene with Jane apologizing for being evil and people getting mad because she like put on a happy facade to her friends unknowingly and people getting pissed about that, if I have to read that one more fucking time, no, Jesus. Like, there's a problem in that comic. Like, Homestuck characters are not usually very self-aware of their own emotional issues and problems. Like, Double Death of the Author, it feels so much like these characters are just doing therapy talk, you know? Like, they're talking out... That's the matter. I'm stumbling over my words. I explained better in the video. I'm very tired right now, which is why this is kind of bad. But, like, in Double Death of the Author, it's just all fucking therapy talk. It's like going down the list of characters who are rude to each other in the original and having them, one by one, I'm sorry, I forgive you, again and again and again and again and again. And I don't want to hear the word I'm sorry again in that comic. And, like, it's best. Double Death of the Author is best when it's not just telling, like, these characters make up. It's when doing things through showing. Like, the nobles, like, Jake is unbearable in this fucking comic, but his best moment, it's one of the best scenes in the whole thing, is him and Dirk have to do this dungeon puzzle. By the way, they have to solve all the, like, world quests for these worlds. I don't give a shit about any of that. But, like, they have to solve this Simon Says puzzle where they're pushing buttons in sequence, working together, and they get shocked the first few times. They electrocute you when I get it wrong, but eventually they get into a rhythm and they're pressing the buttons in sequence perfectly, just working together excellently. And that's such a good moment. Like, it's not just saying, okay, we have made up. It's showing that these characters trust each other and are willing to be friends again. Maybe more, maybe not. I don't fucking know. But, like, hey, that's a genuinely good scene. That genuinely was a good resolution to this relationship that, to be frank, wasn't that well resolved in the original comic. But what precedes that is, like, just this endless conversation with Jake and Brain Ghoster, where Jake is recapping, like, all of his issues and how he thinks he's a failure to his friends and how he thinks he's a failure to his friends and how he's afraid to talk to his friends because he thinks he's a failure to his friends and he thinks he's a failure to his friends. And you think, wow, this is kind of repetitive. You're just saying that over and over again. Imagine if it went on for 10 fucking pages with, like, 1,000 words a page. It's just, occasionally it's good. Like, Jake, I like how Jake and Dirk make up. But I do know there's more conversations about this. You've already, congrats, you did a good job. You have made me as the reader think these characters, the relationship is in a good place. I know for a fact there is coming up more conversations about these guys sorting out their relationship. There's gonna be like 3 more of them, if I remember correctly, after it's already been sorted out, where you had a good showing, a good, like, show not tell moment where you solve this relationship. And maybe this is just a stylistic thing, but I think, like, big moments where characters show themselves through actions are often more meaningful than any conversation can be, you know? Oh, whatever. I found the exit, but I'm getting items, and I shouldn't. I should have just gotten these off screen. Wait, didn't I already fight you? Oh, this is just a way back. Oh, this is just a shortcut. I've been wasting all your time. So yeah, double death of the author. Oh, a grass gem. I don't know where that's neat. I might use it sometime. Double death of the author. Not very good. Not very good. I think, I'm going to be honest, it's probably the comic I have enjoyed the least after reading all of these. Either that, or Homestuck 2, or Taking Back Canon. And right now I'm in the middle of Crow Strider, which I do sometimes. You'll see when the video comes out. I've done a disservice for Crow Strider, because Crow Strider, there, like in every comic, there's a few scenes where there's nothing in this scene worth talking about, so I just don't talk about it at all. I just skip to the next one. I do that so much in Crow Strider because it has a lot of short scenes with the characters not feeling like themselves, talking about really nothing major. I talk about like the big emotional scenes, the ones that move me, like Crow finally getting his sister back, his conversation with Jaspros. That is such a good, it's one of the best fucking conversations in the entire thing. So I talk extensively about that, but I don't, for example, talk about like Eridan, Solix, and Aerosol talking about like, hey, we don't like each other. Ugh, yeah. Yeah, but you know, if Risk is bitch, yeah, at least we can agree on that. Like, I don't fucking, there's nothing in this to talk about. So Crow Strider is, relative to its length, a pretty short section. But that's just because there was less to talk about. Like in Double Death of the Author, Act 8 also had this problem big. Like, is that these conversations are closer, not necessarily 100% character, but closer to being to the original arcs of these characters and their original personalities, that I feel like talking about them, and they often have interesting ideas in them. They're often more deep than the conversations in Crow Strider, which are often kind of shallow. Like there are a few conversations in Crow Strider that are very deep, that touch on some great issues, like the aforementioned Jaspros and Crow's conversation, which is just so fucking good. It's excellent, but like I skip a lot in Crow Strider, which is what I'm working on right now. I could have sworn I saw an item as I was getting out of that cave. But I go so in depth, and maybe I shouldn't be going so in depth with Double Death the Author. Maybe if I was just skimming it and reading the good moments, I would enjoy it more. But I feel like you have to go on, if the problem is that it goes on too long, and it's just endless monotony, I think you sometimes have to represent that in the video by having it be a long, kind of monotonous segment, you know? I don't know. I finished the first episode of Cold West. I got that recorded. I'm going to upload that tonight. It's going to premiere in a bit. It's not a new thing. Okay, what's going to be our Route 7 encounter, which is going to end this? Ew, I don't want you fucking... No. Game Freak's right to not let you into games anymore, because you're a dumb Pokemon that I don't like. I'm very eloquent when I'm exhausted, because just had to get up early. I hate driving on the interstate. This is kind of me vaguely sheltered that I live in like a 55 mile an hour county. I fucking hate driving at 70 miles an hour. It always makes me nervous, feel like I'm gonna crash my car. I don't like, oh, there's a semi that's just driving like right next to me. Oh, that's really close. Like, it freaks me the fuck out, and that's kind of childish, but I don't fucking know, you know? And worse is, like, I started this out, like, driving, like, I had to head east this morning to a school, and the sun in my eyes, I hate that. Dwight Volpine says on the epilogues video, understanding was the point, I still don't like it. Sure, it's a metatextual commentary on bad fanfics, but that's such a bad Fate central theme. Fanfics can make characters worse, more shallow, can mischaracterize them, but can also draw greater depths from characters and themes that are underexplored by the story. And hey, I'm encountering this on this video. There are some good writing in these fanfics I'm reading. You can have interesting reinterpretations, new angles. Not all fanfic is bad fanfic. Hell, after all, the commentary and how the characters and plot threads didn't matter, why isn't that brought up in the epilogues for the fanfic, like, take on it? Why is it only about characters spiraling down? To be fair, unlike plot threads that didn't get resolved, the epilogues does do that. They resolve the nobles, not a good resolution, but you know. Oh god, that's loud. Whatever. I can't even feel surprised by the reception because underneath the superficial extremes that the story goes, it's such a bare way to address fandom. Maybe people subconsciously picked up on that. Homestuck was always full of irony, but it had as much love for media and the internet culture as it had mockery. And you know, maybe in that video, I'm talking loud because I got the fucking heater on. I didn't remember to turn it off. The epilogues are a deconstruction of the ideas of fanfic, and they're like the world is falling apart because this is what happens in fanfic, and it isn't right. But also, like, the whole point of them is the reconstruction at the end, the like beauty that is found in this world, and John learning that this matters, that this world is worth fighting for, and these people matter, and he should stop caring about them. Like, it's a deconstruction of fanfiction, but it ends with a reconstruction about fanfic, why fanfic is good, and why this world matters. Doesn't matter if it's fucking canon. What matters is the emotions it makes you feel from the story that is being told. Like, yeah, it's the epilogues are kind of cynical, like deconstruction of fanfiction, but they end with this optimistic, heartwarming ending, or at least Candy does. Meat isn't so much on the fanfic thing anyway. Anyway, I'm ending this early.